If Jiraiya survived, he would return to the Leaf and tell Tsunade about Pain's multiple bodies. As a result, everyone would be better prepared for Pain's assault, resulting in fewer casualties. Meanwhile, he would take Naruto to Mount Miyabuku and oversee his sage training in person, while attempting to gain greater mastery over his own. He would later join the fight against Pain, and subsequently be made the 6th Hokage candidate, meaning sadly, Danzo lives. At the 5 Kage summit, he would fight Sasuke, forcing Obito to rescue him, and after Tsunade's recovery, he would be given a command position in the allied shinobi forces. Much of the war would go the same, with Jiraiya reuniting with Minato and fighting alongside him and Naruto until Kaguya's revival. After the war, he would return to Konoha and be delighted to see Orochimaru's redemption. Finally, on the day of Naruto's wedding, he would serve as father of the groom and eventually godfather to his children as well. If Endeavor was a good father and husband, he would have shown his family the love and support they deserved, rather than using them as tools for his own ambition. As a result, Toya wouldn't have had his accident, and would grow up to be Endeavor's sidekick, the Azure Flame hero Darby. Shoto would also grow up alongside his siblings, with both his parents being in a happy marriage, meaning no physical, mental, or emotional scars. He would later intern under his dad and big brother at the Endeavor Agency. This family of heroes would be a great bane to the League of Villains, who would have much less firepower without Darby on their side. As a result, they would be eradicated during the Kamino Ward incident, with Darby killing Shigaraki and Endeavor rounding up the rest. This battle would still cost All Might the last embers of One for All, and so he would retire, and while this would not be the promotion Endeavor had always dreamed of, he would still become #1 hero, and would be celebrated not only by the hero community, but also by his loving family. If Zoro became a Marine, it would be during his pirate hunter days. This would be done as a way to hone his sword skills, due to the number of powerful Marine swordsmen, and even the greatest swordsman in the world, Dracul Mihawk being a warlord of the sea, and so tacitly an ally to the Marines. With his strength and battle intelligence, it would be no challenge for Zoro to be accepted, and so he would begin as a seaman recruit. However, he would not be long in this role, finding a mentor in his captain, the former knight Ship Cutter T-Bone, who would become a guide in both swordsmanship and naval life. This would allow Zoro to grow in strength and rise to an officer rank, serving on T-Bone's senior staff, with the pair dispensing the world government's justice to all the pirate malcontents they would encounter. During this time, Zoro would also become acquainted with another up-and-comer, Tashigi, who would not only be a sword fighter like him, but also bear a striking resemblance to his departed childhood rival. Though Zoro would more often than not simply find Tashigi a bother, he would be intrigued by her goal to retrieve the legendary swords, and so would keep an eye on her progress. Finally, he would gain glory during the Summit War of Marineford, with his impressive 3-sword fighting style, earning himself a captaincy, and setting out for the New World to hunt down the remnants of the Whitebeard pirates and the dangerous criminal Straw Hat Luffy. If Anakin was born in the Republic, he would likely be found very early by the Jedi and thus given over to the Order for training. Their interest would be doubly piqued by his insane midichlorian count and tale of his immaculate conception, and so would be placed under the tutelage of Grandmaster Yoda himself. Yoda would be a great mentor to the boy, using his over 800 years of wisdom and experience to channel his passions. The absence of a traumatic upbringing, familial attachment, or a secret love affair would all make this Anakin much less of a roiling cauldron of belly-suppressed rage, a fact which would make him hard to manipulate by Palpatine. In fact, his relationship with Palpatine would be significantly lessened by the fact that the then Senator had not been there for him during a turbulent time in his life. These factors combined would mean Anakin would have no reason to stray from the Jedi Code, allowing him to grow into a wise and powerful knight during the ensuing Clone Wars. As a former student of Yoda, Dooku would also take an interest in Anakin, telling him about the Sith Lord puppeteering the Republic. Not being blinded by rigid dogma or loyalty to the Chancellor, Anakin would listen, relaying all he learned to his master, and so they along with the rest of the Council would arrest Palpatine, ending the Sith and bringing balance to the Force as prophesized. If Straizo survived, he would assist Joseph in his fight against the Pillarmen. Traveling by night, the pair would head to Mexico to rescue Speedwagon, with the vampire using that time to give Joseph Hamon instruction, so that he may be better prepared for the battles to come. The pair would later take on San Viento together, their combined Hamon powers making von Stroheim's sacrifice unnecessary, and so he's able to reveal the existence and location of the other 3 Pillarmen calmly, even leading them there after stopping off to collect Caesar Zeppeli and at Straizo's insistence Lisa. Together the team of Joseph, Straizo, von Stroheim, Speedwagon, Lisa and Caesar would prove more than a match for the Pillarmen, and though von Stroheim would be killed, the 2 Hamon masters and their disciples would make quick work of their newly woken foes, and just like that the Pillarmen threat would be ended, and with no time pressure, Straizo would reveal his ties to Lisa, as well as her status as Joseph's mother. He would then depart into the night, promising to return if he is needed, but otherwise urging the next generation to pick up the torch. If Thor went for Thanos' head, the Mad Titan would be killed before he could carry out the blip. While seemingly an ideal situation, this would create a host of problems, namely the fate of the Infinity Stones. While heroes such as Cap and Banner would wish for them to be returned to where they came from, others such as Wanda and Thor would see them as a way to revive lost loved ones and reshape reality to the way they feel it ought to be. Inevitably, this would lead to conflict, with friend turning on friend, and tragically many lives would be lost in the desperate scramble to gain mastery over the stones. Finally, in an attempt to end the fighting, Cap would sacrifice his life to snap the stones out of existence, and with that the day would be saved, though with such a high cost that none would walk away feeling victorious. If the Kaiba brothers were adopted by Solo and Moto, they would grow up in a home filled with love and laughter alongside their grandpa and adoptive cousin Yugi. While Schroeder Corp would partner with Industrial Illusions, producing holographic duel technology, Seto would still prove himself a dueling prodigy, entering local, regional, and even national tournaments. The dueling world would be wowed by this child, who duels not only with the strategic prowess of Seto himself, but the faith in the heart of the cards instilled in him by his grandpa, and on the day of Seto's 16th birthday, Solomon would bestow upon him a precious gift, his personal deck. With the Dark Magician as his partner, Seto would quickly rise to the rank of World Champion, but he would not allow this title to go to his head, still having time to play chess with Mokuba and helping Yugi to solve his Millennium Puzzle. Tragically, Seto would be unable to help his cousin when Pegasus challenges him to a shadow game, and so would have to watch as their grandpa's soul is stolen. Nonetheless, after being invited to Duelist Kingdom, Seto along with Yugi and Mokuba would set sail, ready to face whatever traps Pegasus has in store, to rescue the man who brought them all together. If Videl wished to be a Saiyan, she would train with Gohan, allowing her to help during Frieza's invasion, as well as allowing Gohan to last longer against Frieza until Goku arrived. She and Gohan would then take Monaka and Boo's place in the Tournament of Destroyers, though in the end they would both fall by the time Hit came along. Later, she would take Roshi's place in the Tournament of Power, developing a rivalry with Kale and Caulifla, but falling to the raw power of Kefla. Finally, when Red Pharmaceuticals kidnapped Pan, she would join her husband in rescuing their daughter, and against Mama Bear's rage, Magenta, the Gammas, and even Cell Max would stand no chance. And thus ends our series of Christmas What If minis. But before you go, allow me to wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a safe New Year.